So, welcome to another episode of Relax Jazz Piano. Today I am going to show you the one magic note that will change your arrangements, all right, and in the way that you approach fake books and lead sheets. All right, so let's pull up the iReal Pro track here so we have our chords for Someday My Prince Will Come. Last time what I was talking about was using the root and the seventh, and then you have your melody, right, and then adding the third underneath the melody, right, that's where we got to. So root, seventh, third, and then your melody note. And you can see basically here how you're having a B flat major seventh chord, right, all broken up, right? And when we go to the D7, same thing, root 7, third, melody. And then when we went to the E flat, we changed this left hand to a root 3. So you can move between root 7, root 3. Of course, there's plenty of other stuff you could do, but this is where we're starting right now. So root 3, and then we add the 7th below, and then your melody. And then down to G7, root 7, third, and then your melody. All right, so first 4 chords here. So what is this magic note? The magic note I'm talking about is the 9th, okay? So as I was playing in the beginning, you could hear me playing that 9th in there. Listen to how rich. I mean, you got a beautiful sound there, especially like that C minor. Now, for some of you, you might not like the tension. If you don't like the tension, then don't put the 9th in, all right? You can leave it out. But if you want that nice jazz tension, you can add in that 9th. All right, so what is the 9th? The 9th is one whole step up from the root. In reality, theoretically, what we're really talking is an octave and then a step up. That's really the 9th, okay? It is a chord tension. It is not a chord tone. In jazz circles, you normally refer to it as the 9th. In rock and pop circles, a lot of times you'll refer to it as the 2nd, right? Or the 2. So you don't have to get bogged down with that. That's a whole theory stuff, and you can dig into that more if you want to. You can find out more about that at JazzEdge Academy. But for right now, just know that you're going to find the root of the chord, B flat, and you're going to go up one whole step, and you're going to add that note, the C. Now the question might be, well, hey Willie, where do I add it? Do I add it down here? Well, what do you think? Does that sound good? Yeah, it sounds like crap to me, so I wouldn't put it down there. I'd put it up here, right? But the point is, you can move that note around. How do you know where? Use your ears. Try different stuff, right? Try it out and see. Do you like it up there? Do you like it down there? Well, obviously it doesn't sound great down there, so put it up here, okay? A lot of times when you're playing that 9th, you're gonna like kind of crush it with the 3rd. What do I mean by crush? I just mean you're playing both of those notes at the same time. You get kind of like you start to get what we call a cluster voicing. That's where you have notes clustered close together in your chord voicing. You can kind of see like there's some clustering in there, right? If you want to add in like other notes later on, like sharp 11 or whatnot, you can kind of cluster that in, but not in this case. All right, so here we're just doing our root 7 in the left hand. We get that? Root 7. We got our melody, we got our 3rd, and we're adding in the 9th. I would do 1, 2, and 4 for my fingering. The D7. First of all, always start with the root 7, 3rd, melody. Start with that, structure first before you add in the 9th. Why? Because a lot of times students try adding in all the notes all at once, and they can't get it that fast, and they get frustrated. So start with your foundational structure first. This is your foundation. Root 7, left hand, 3rd, and in your melody. And now I can add in my 9th. Probably, once again, going to probably use thumb, 2nd finger, 4th finger, something like that. But if that's more comfortable for you, that's fine as well. All right, now you might say, hey, Willie, can I add in other notes? Like maybe bring the 3rd down there. Maybe bring in the 5th as well, if I want. Or maybe double the sharp 5 down there. Or add in sharp 11 up in here. Sure, you could do all that stuff. But again, my friends, what I would suggest that you do is don't start messing around with that until you get your foundations down. I've seen enough students over the years do this, and what happens is they try doing too much, too fast. So start with that foundation. Here we go, E flat. So I went to root 3. There's my melody with the A, right? I added in the 7th, right? Because remember, if I'm doing root 3 down here, I don't need to double the 3rd up there. I already have the 3rd down there. So if I'm doing a root 3 chord shell, then I bring the 7th underneath the melody. All right, go back to my other video if you didn't see that, or if you really want to dive deep, again, JazzEdge Academy. And then here, I can add in the 9th. This is a real nice chord voicing. What I love about this is your sharp 11 there on the E flat. You can also, if you wanted to double the 3rd up there, you could. It gives you kind of, again, that cluster voicing that I was talking about. So you can play around with this stuff. Do you like that sound? or this sound. It's very subtle, right? It's up to you to decide which one you want. So again, from the beginning, B flat major 7th, D 7th, E flat major 7. Now here's my G7. Again, foundational voicing, root 7 in the left hand. Third, melody. Okay, so now let's like start adding some fun stuff. Where's our one magic note, the 9th? Well, right there, right? Whole step up, don't forget. Now here, I'm going to show you a trick. Use just your thumb on here. So right now I'm playing thumb and second finger. Check this out. I'm going to get that second finger out of there. I'm going to play it just with my thumb, right? This is crushing this just with the thumb. I got my melody. Well, what else can I do in here? Well, look at the chord, G7, flat 9, right? So here I can add in some other notes, like maybe a flat 13 in there or a sharp 11. I can play around with that tension. Now you might say, hey, wait a second. Well, what about the flat 9? Should I do flat 9? Quite frankly, you could do flat 9 or you could do natural 9 on this chord. But if you want to do flat 9, there's your flat 9. So all I do is I took the 9th and I did what? I flattened it, right? So go to your 9th and then flatten it. So that sounds like this. B flat, D, E flat major 7, G7 flat 9. Okay? Now in this chord, I kind of like the natural 9, you know, and remember, when you see chords written, you see certain tensions and whatnot, don't think that you have to play it exactly as is. Jazz musicians will change stuff around based on what it is that they hear, what they're feeling, what they want to do, right? So nothing is ever locked in stone. If you're used to coming from, like, say, classical piano, where everything is written out and you don't change the notes, well, guess what, my friends? In jazz piano, you get a lot more leeway there. It's not like you can do whatever you want, but you have a lot more leeway. The trick is, if you're going to start changing around like chords and not play a G and play a different chord, well, you're going to want to make sure that the bass player or other musicians know what the heck you're doing, or they better have really good ears to be able to pick it up on the spot, right? But changing from a natural 9 to a flat 9, you could do either one, right? And in C minor, there's our foundational voicing, right? Root 7, melody, 3rd underneath. Why am I putting the 3rd? A little quiz for you. I'm doing the 3rd here because I'm doing what in the left hand? I'm doing the 7th in the left hand. Now, hey, wait a second. If I was doing the 3rd in the left hand, what would I put on the melody? Would I put the 3rd again? Yeah, those of you that said no, you're right. No, I put the flat 7, okay? But in this case, I'm putting the 7th, so I'm going to put the 3rd underneath the melody. Now I'm going to add in my 9th. Oh, where should I add in my 9th? Oh, I'm sure down here makes a lot of sense. Well, let's hear how that sounds. Oh, yeah, that sounds lovely, doesn't it? No, sounds like garbage, right? So you want to bring it up here. Now, the funny thing is, some of you might say that sounds like garbage too. Here's the thing about chords and tensions and voicings. You're going to play certain voicings, you're going to add in certain tensions that you may not like the sound of it right away, all right? And that, quite frankly, might be on you and might be your ears needing to get used to that sound, especially if you're coming from more a traditional rock, classical, whatever style, and you're not used to playing jazz or even listening to jazz. You start to hear that like, I don't like that tension in there. So there's a couple of things you could do. Number one, sit with it, live with it, try playing it a little bit, and just kind of get used to it. If you don't like the sound of it, take it out. You don't have to put it in there, right? But if you want to try putting it in there, there you go. C minor 7. And now G7 flat 9. Now I did a little trick here. I hit the root and I hit the melody, and I came up and I played the rest of the chord. I call this root stomp. We kind of use it with rootless voicings, but anyway, all of that is explained within JazzEdge Academy, but a little trick for you that you could hit the melody and then play the rest of the chord on beat 2 here. So here, what do I have? Root 7, again, 3rd, melody up here, and I added in flat 9. Now here's C minor 7. All right, so let's talk about the C minor 7 here, because this is good. The melody is here, but you're going to want to play that shell down here, because you start playing a shell, it sounds really like light, and like it doesn't sound very full, right? So how do I fill this out? Now, first of all, if you can reach tenths, then yeah, you can get some of these nice big voicings here, but many of you cannot reach that stretch. So what are some options? Well, one option is always, you could always arpeggiate the chord, but quite frankly, it's not really most people don't like that, right? You want to play a nice rich chord without having to arpeggiate the chord. So what do I do here? Well, one thing you could do is, if you can't reach that, can you reach the ninth there? Because that is an option. If you can add the fifth in there, then you can get a nice full chord that way. But if you can't do that, and all you can do is the root 7, maybe you can just reach an octave or less, fine, no worries about that. So here, we don't necessarily have to add in the ninth. Why? We already have the ninth as the melody. So here, just add in the third, but if you want to fill out the chord, add the fifth and the seventh in there. Now you got a nice sounding chord. And then on the F7, you add the ninth in there, right? Root 7, ninth, third, fifth. Now I'm going to end on the D minor. Check that voicing out. This is really kind of cool. What I like about this is how open it is, but then how you have a cluster right in the middle, all right? So just look at the virtual keyboard, the orange notes up there, and just look at it as a pattern, right? And then look at the space. See, space, 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 space. Well, right here is that cluster. And what happens is you have the open space. If I play that by itself, right? Sounds open on both of them, but when I put them together, you get that bite in the middle with the open space around it. So these are ways in which you can create interesting chord voicings. But again, let's look at what's going on here. It's not all that difficult. So here, I didn't do root 7 this time. I changed my shell around, and this time instead I did root 5. I have the 7th here, okay, and my melody, and I'm adding in the 3rd, okay? I could stop right there. I got all the notes that I need right there, but then I also added in the 9th there. Now, some of you might say, well, wait a second, Willie, can't I just crush that 9th with the right hand? Yeah, sure, knock yourself out, do it. You can do that if you want to. I personally like doing the 2 hands like that because then I can start to do, keep my hands open for my voicings. All right, so anyway, I hope that learning about this one magic note, the 9th, is helpful to you. If you like it, please leave a comment. If you have questions, you don't understand what I'm talking about, leave a comment. And if this works for you, or you want to know where you can go with that, leave a comment. All right, so anyway, thanks for joining me. I will see you in another Relaxed Jazz Piano video. Be sure to check out the playlist because I will be adding more videos to this, and I appreciate the like on the video. I'll see you soon.